The galaxy had lived under a long shadow. For centuries, two ancient powers, the Varn Dominion and the Drael Empire, fought each other without end. Their fleets clashed across star systems, leaving destruction wherever they went. Planets caught between them had no choice but to bend the knee to one side or the other. Smaller species lived in fear, always choosing carefully who to obey, for one wrong step meant being crushed. Peace was only a word spoken in forgotten stories. Near the neutral system of Calros, another great battle had begun. The Varn fleet, sharp and dark like blades of metal, clashed against the golden ships of the Drael. Hundreds of vessels filled the sky, and energy blasts turned the void into a storm of light. From far away it looked like stars were dying. The system itself shook as the two fleets fought for control. In the middle of this chaos, something strange happened. A tear opened in space, as if the fabric of the universe itself had been cut. It was not a natural event. Both fleets stopped firing for a moment, their captains confused. Out of the tear came a warship unlike any either side had seen before. It was massive but not designed like the ships of the Varn or Drael. Its lines were smooth, its hull gray with markings unknown to the galaxy. Lights ran across its side and strange weapons pointed outward in silence. What truly made the aliens pause was the word painted across the vessel's side, written in a language neither the Varn nor Drael understood. But their translation systems worked quickly, and soon a single word appeared on their screens. Earth. No one had heard of such a place. No records of it existed in the ancient archives. To both sides, it was as if a ghost ship had stepped out of nowhere. On the bridge of the warship, Captain Daniel stood with his crew. His eyes moved across the starfield filled with alien vessels locked in battle. The experimental jump drive had been tested for the first time, and the ship had been pulled across the galaxy. He had expected to arrive near a human colony. Instead, he had emerged into a war zone. The crew around him were silent, watching the alien fleets. No one knew if these beings were friends or enemies. Daniel gave calm orders. Shields at full strength. Weapons ready, but hold fire. The ship's sensors scanned the alien vessels. Their designs were strange and older than anything Earth had built, but their weapons were clear enough. They were ready to kill. Messages soon flooded in. The Varn commander demanded the strange vessel identify itself and submit to inspection. The Drael commander, cautious but curious, asked the same. Both sides spoke with suspicion, unwilling to let a new power appear in their battlefield. Daniel listened to the messages, then ordered his crew to respond. A calm voice filled the alien channels. This is the warship Valor representing Earth. We seek no conflict. We claim no part in your war. We ask only for safe passage. His words did not calm the aliens. To the Varn, the strange vessel looked like a threat that had to be crushed before it grew stronger. To the Drael, it looked like a weapon that might be turned against their old enemy. The arrival of the Valor had broken the rhythm of their war, and neither side trusted what they saw. The two fleets held their positions. Energy weapons still burned between some of their ships, but most captains turned their focus to the lone warship. Whispers spread across the communication lines of both sides. Where had this ship come from? Was there a hidden empire behind it? On the bridge of the Valor, the crew felt the weight of all eyes upon them. They had no allies here, no colonies nearby, and no map of this strange part of the galaxy. All they had was their ship and each other. The silence of space pressed down on them as alien weapons locked onto their hull. Captain Daniel stood tall. Humanity had been quiet for centuries, growing on its own worlds, building slowly, learning to reach the stars. They had thought themselves small in the galaxy, explorers rather than warriors. Yet here they were, in the middle of a war between giants. He did not know it yet, but this moment would change everything. The ancient balance of the galaxy was about to break, and it had begun with a single human ship appearing from nowhere. The battlefield had grown quiet. Both the Varn and the Drael fleet circled the unknown vessel, unsure of what to do. They had been enemies for centuries, but now their attention was drawn toward the strange ship with the single word Earth written across its side. The Varn commander spoke first. His voice was harsh and cold as it echoed across the communication channels. Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. Power down your weapons and prepare for inspection. Resistance will be met with destruction. The Drael commander followed soon after. His tone was smoother but carried no less suspicion. Foreign ship, you have stumbled into a battle you do not understand. Identify your empire. Speak now. or we will take action. On the bridge of the Valor, Captain Daniel stood still, listening. His crew looked at him, waiting for orders. Around them, the alien fleets glowed with ready weapons. The screen showed hundreds of ships, each one capable of turning the Valor into debris. Daniel's voice was steady. "Transmit a message on all channels." A young officer pressed the controls, and Daniel spoke. "This is Captain Daniel of the Earth warship Valor. We do not seek conflict. We are not part of your war. We are explorers and defenders of our people. We ask only for safe passage." The message went out. The bridge crew waited, but silence followed. Both alien fleets were processing what they had heard. A name that meant nothing to them, Earth. A ship unlike any they had seen. The Varn reacted first. Their commander sneered. "Explorers? There are no explorers in a war zone. You are spies. Perhaps you belong to a hidden empire waiting to strike. We will not allow you to leave." The Drail commander was less aggressive but no less cautious. "You claim to be neutral, but no species builds such a warship without purpose. If you wish to survive, you will speak your truth. Who are the humans and where is Earth?" The questions cut deep. Daniel knew he could not reveal too much. Earth was still weak compared to these massive empires. The human colonies were spread thin, and their fleets were few. If either side learned the truth, Earth could become a target before it was ready. He answered carefully. "We come from far beyond your borders. We have no stake in your war. Our mission is only to find our place among the stars." The Drail commander paused, considering the words. The Varn commander laughed with scorn. "Lies, no world rises unseen. No power hides for so long. If you will not obey, then you will be destroyed." On the Valor, alarms sounded. The Varn fleet was charging weapons. Red lights flashed across the bridge. The crew tensed, waiting for Daniel's order. But before the Varn could fire, the Drail intervened. Their commander ordered his ships to move between the Valor and the Varn. "Wait," he commanded, his voice sharp. "If this Earthship is real, it may be valuable. Let us see what it can do. Do not waste this chance." For the first time, the two ancient enemies were not focused on each other. Their hatred was caused by curiosity and fear of a new player. Inside the Valor, the crew whispered among themselves. One officer said quietly, "Sir, they are going to test us. They do not believe we are neutral." Daniel nodded. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. One wrong move, and Earth would be remembered as a threat before it even entered the galactic stage. He raised his hand, steady and calm. "Keep shields up. Do not fire unless I give the order. Let them see we do not strike first." The standoff stretched long. Minutes felt like hours as the alien fleets shifted positions, testing the humans' patience. Both sides sent more messages, questions layered with threats, but Daniel gave the same reply each time. "We are Earth. We do not seek war." Yet even as he spoke, he could see the truth forming. Neither the Varn nor the Drail would let them leave freely. Fear was stronger than trust. Curiosity was sharper than diplomacy. The galaxy had just discovered humanity, and already it wanted to test their strength. On the edge of his thoughts, Daniel understood something else. This was not just first contact. This was the first judgment of Earth by powers older and larger than anything humanity had ever faced. Whatever happened next would echo across the stars. For now, the Valor held its ground, silent but unshaken as the two great fleets circled. The first contact had begun, and the future of Earth hung in the balance. The silence between the fleets could not last forever. The Varn had no patience for mysteries, and to them the Earthship was a dangerous unknown. Their commander saw it as a threat to their empire's control. He gave a single order that broke the fragile pause. "Destroy it." From the Varn fleet, lines of red plasma cut through the darkness of space. Dozens of cannons fired at once, and the sky lit with deadly energy. The Drail ships held back, watching carefully. They wanted to see what this stranger could endure. On the bridge of the Valor, the alarm screamed. Shields flared as the blast struck. The ship shook, but the barrier held. Sparks burst from panels, but the crew stayed at their stations. "They are testing us," Daniel said firmly. His voice was calm, though his crew could hear the steel in his tone. "They want to see if we are weak." The Varn fired again, heavier than before. Missiles streaked through the void, breaking into smaller warheads as they neared. The Valor's defense systems came alive. Small turrets spat streams of light, intercepting missiles one by one. Some detonated close, rattling the ship, but still the shields glowed strong. Gasps filled the Drail command deck. Never before had they seen a vessel withstand such fire. The Varn weapons had destroyed fleets in the past, yet this one ship held its ground. Daniel stood tall, eyes fixed on the battle screens. He had not wanted this fight, but Earth could not show weakness. Humanity had always survived by standing firm. "Target their lead ship," he ordered. The Valor answered with fire. Its main cannon charged, glowing with a light unlike the plasma of the aliens. A beam shot forward, cutting through the void with terrifying speed. It struck the Varn battleship square in the center. Shields flared, cracked, then shattered. The ship split apart in silence, flames spilling into the darkness. Shock spread across the battlefield. The Drail crew stared wide-eyed. The Varn officers shouted in disbelief. The humans had not only survived, they had destroyed one of the Dominion's finest warships with a single strike. The Varn reacted with fury. More ships moved in, forming a wall of fire. Plasma and missiles poured toward the lone human vessel. The Valor twisted and turned with precision, its engines roaring, its guns answering shot for shot. Each blast from the Earthship tore holes in the Varn fleet. Ships that had stood for centuries were ripped apart in minutes. On the Valor, the crew moved quickly, hands racing across panels. One officer shouted, "Shields at 60%. Another called, "Enemy formation breaking." Daniel gave no sign of fear. "Stay on course. Show them what Earth can do." The Drail commander leaned back in his chair, silent. He had expected the strange vessel to fall quickly, but now he saw something else. Strength, speed, and tactics that felt new. The humans fought with a sharpness unlike the long and heavy battles of the galaxy. As the fight raged, the Varn began to pull back. Their commander shouted for his ships to regroup, but the damage was done. Half their formation was in ruins, and the rest had lost their confidence. The Valor did not chase. Daniel knew better than to waste power. Instead, he let the silence return. The battlefield was littered with wrecks, and the stars glowed with the light of burning ships. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the Drail commander broke the silence. "Captain Daniel of Earth," he said slowly. "Your ship fights with power and precision I have never seen. Perhaps you are not a spy. Perhaps you are something greater." Daniel gave no smile, only a steady reply. "We did not want this fight. But if we are attacked, we will defend ourselves." The Drail commander considered his words. On the other side, the Varn commander seethed with rage. To him, this was not just an insult, it was a challenge to his empire's dominance. Across the galaxy, word would spread. The humans had arrived, and their first strike had torn down a mighty warship as if it were nothing. On the bridge of the Valor, Daniel looked out at the broken fleets. He knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would not forget what had just happened. Earth's name was now written in fire among the stars, and the balance of power had begun to break. The battlefield near Calros drifted in silence. Wreckage floated across the stars, broken pieces of Varn ships glowing faintly. The Drail fleet remained in formation, their golden hulls shining against the black void. At the center, the Valor stood tall, scarred but unbroken. One ship had faced an empire's wrath and survived. Captain Daniel stood at the front of his bridge, staring at the screens. His crew was tired, their uniforms stained with smoke and sweat, but their spirits burned with pride. They had faced the unknown and proven humanity's strength. Yet Daniel's thoughts were heavy. He knew victory would not end the danger. It would only draw more eyes toward Earth. Moments later, a signal arrived. The Drail commander wished to speak directly. Daniel gave a nod, and the main screen lit up. The Drail commander appeared, tall with smooth golden skin and eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light of his command chamber. His voice carried both respect and calculation. "Captain Daniel of Earth," he began slowly, "what I have seen today will be remembered. The Varn have feared no one for centuries, yet your ship has humbled them. The Drail Empire does not forget such strength." Daniel gave a calm nod. "We fought only to defend ourselves. We have no wish to join your war." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps. But the galaxy is not a place for neutrality. You will be forced to choose whether you wish it or not." He leaned forward. "Join us, Captain. The Drail Empire has resources, allies, and knowledge beyond anything you possess. In return, your people will have protection. Together we can end the Dominion's tyranny." The bridge of the Valor grew quiet. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. To ally with the Drail might mean safety, but it could also mean losing independence. Daniel's reply was careful. "Earth is still young among the stars. We cannot offer ourselves as tools in another empire's war. We seek friendship, not servitude. The Drael commander smiled faintly, though it carried no warmth. Friendship is a word spoken by the weak. Alliances are built on power. Your ship has power, but one vessel cannot change the galaxy. When your fleet grows, when your colonies expand, you will need us. Think carefully, Captain. Refuse us now, and you may find the galaxy less welcoming than you hope. Before Daniel could respond, another signal came. It was from the Varn. Their commander's face filled the second screen. Sharp features, dark armor, and eyes burning with fury. His voice thundered across the channel. Human, you have struck against the Dominion. For that, there will be no peace. Surrender your vessel and reveal the secrets of your weapons. If you resist, we will hunt you to the ends of the stars. The bridge grew tense. Two powerful empires, both demanding different things. One offering alliance, the other issuing threats. Daniel spoke with steady words. We belong to neither of you. Earth will stand on its own. The Varn commander laughed bitterly. Fool, you think one world can resist us? You think your fragile people can survive the weight of the Dominion? You will learn. All of you will learn. His screen went dark, but his threat lingered in the air. The Drael commander remained, watching Daniel closely. You see now, Captain, the Varn will never forgive what you have done. They will come for you again and again. But if you stand with us, you will not stand alone. Daniel did not answer immediately. His crew waited, watching him, trusting his judgment. He knew that one choice could bind Earth for generations. If they allied too quickly, they might become pawns. If they stood alone, they might be crushed. Finally, he said, We thank you for your offer, but Earth must decide its path carefully. For now, we walk our own road. The Drael commander's smile faded. So be it, but remember this, no one survives alone. When the Dominion comes, and they will, you may find yourself calling for the very help you refused today. The transmission ended. Silence filled the bridge once again. Daniel exhaled slowly. He turned to his crew. We are not here to bow. We are here to learn, to explore, and to protect our people. That will not change. His officers nodded. Some carried pride in their eyes, others worry. The weight of what had just happened pressed on all of them. The galaxy had seen the power of Earth, and now both great empires would not rest until they had claimed or destroyed it. Far away, in hidden corners of space, whispers began. Small species, long crushed by the Varn or bound by the Drael, heard the news of a human warship that stood against both. Hope stirred where none had been before. But with hope came danger, for Earth had stepped into the great game of empires, and every move from this moment on would shape its destiny. The galaxy had changed the moment the Valor fired its cannons. Across the stars, whispers of Earth spread from system to system. Merchants spoke of it in quiet voices. Captains repeated tales of the strange human ship that had broken a Varn fleet. To the weak and oppressed, Earth became a name of hope. To the strong, it became a threat. The Varn Dominion could not allow such a threat to grow. Their fleets had ruled for centuries without challenge, and now a single vessel had shattered their pride. The High Council of the Dominion gave one order: destroy the humans before they gained allies. The plan came quickly. The Varn sent envoys with a message of peace. They claimed to regret their earlier hostility. They offered negotiations, promising safe travel and a chance to explain their side. The meeting would take place at a neutral system known as Rhynar, a world untouched by either empire. On the Valor, the crew listened to the message with suspicion. Many officers argued against it. It is a trick, one said firmly. They want us isolated. Another added, we should not even answer. They cannot be trusted. But Captain Daniel thought carefully. If he refused, the Varn would call the humans cowards. If he agreed, at least he might learn more of their plans. Finally, he spoke. We will go, but we go prepared. No one lowers their guard. The journey to Rhynar was tense. The stars stretched endlessly as the Valor cut through space, its crew silent, weapons ready. Daniel knew the Varn would not waste words on peace. They wanted blood. Still, he hoped to use the meeting to understand the depth of their fear. When the ship arrived, Rhynar looked quiet and empty. Its pale moon cast silver light across the surface, and the orbit seemed still. Yet Daniel's instincts told him otherwise. Scan the system, he ordered. The officer at the controls frowned. Strange readings, sir. Too much interference. It is as if someone is hiding. Moments later, the trap was revealed. Dozens of Varn warships uncloaked from the darkness. They surrounded the Valor in perfect formation, their weapons already glowing. A voice filled the communication line, the same Varn commander who had sworn revenge, human captain. Did you think we would forgive? Did you think we would let you live after humiliating us before the galaxy? You are surrounded. Surrender your ship or be erased. The crew of the Valor felt their stomachs tighten. It was an ambush exactly as they had feared. The enemy fleet was massive, far larger than before. Daniel's voice did not shake. They believe we are prey, but Earth does not bow to hunters. He raised his hand. Battle stations. We fight. The Varn fleet opened fire. Streams of plasma and swarms of missiles lit the void, converging on the lone human vessel. The Valor's shields blazed under the assault, the deck shuddering as if the ship itself roared in pain. Shields at 70%, shouted an officer. Maintain course, Daniel ordered. Target their flanks. Break their formation. The Valor moved like a predator among giants. Its thrusters burned bright, darting between firestorms, weaving past missiles. Its cannons struck with precision, tearing holes in the Varn lines. Each shot crippled a cruiser or shattered a destroyer, and the wreckage scattered like broken teeth in the sky. Still, the enemy pressed harder. Their numbers were overwhelming. One blast struck the Valor's side, throwing sparks across the bridge. Smoke filled the air and crew members coughed as they fought to keep their stations alive. Shields down to 40%, came the report. The trap was closing, but Daniel's eyes remained sharp. They want to crush us all at once. That makes them predictable. Let's show them what unpredictability looks like. The Valor shifted course suddenly, diving straight into the heart of the ambush. The Varn commander shouted in anger as his fleet scrambled to adjust. No ship had ever dared to charge into their strongest line. The human vessel unleashed everything: cannons, missiles, torpedoes. Explosions ripped across the enemy formation. Varn ships collided as they tried to dodge, their own fire striking allies instead of targets. Chaos spread through their perfect circle. On the bridge of the Valor, an officer cried out, "We broke their net. We have an opening." "Take it," Daniel commanded. Engines roared as the Valor shot through the gap, weaving past burning wrecks. The enemy tried to regroup, but their formation was shattered. The humans had done the unthinkable, escaped a trap set by the Dominion. The Varn commander screamed across the channel, "This is not the end, human. You cannot run forever." Daniel gave no reply. He simply ordered silence and the channel closed. When the battle ended, the Valor limped forward, shields battered, hull scarred but alive. The crew sat in exhaustion, but their eyes burned with pride. Daniel stood tall, his voice steady. "Remember this day. They will not stop. They will try again and again, but each time, we will show them who we are. We are Earth, we do not kneel." And far across the galaxy, those words carried weight. For every world under the Dominion's shadow, the story of the humans grew stronger. The Varn had set a trap, but instead of breaking the humans, they had revealed something terrifying to the galaxy. The humans were not prey. They were hunters who fought with fire no one had ever seen. The Valor had survived the Varn trap, and its passage through the stars became a story told in whispers and alarms. Across the galaxy, every species with even a single listening post had heard of the humans and their ship. The tale spread faster than any fleet. A single vessel had faced the might of the Varn and survived. It had destroyed ships that were considered unbeatable. To some, it was a miracle. To others, it was a warning. Captain Daniel stood on the bridge, staring at the screens. Each sensor reading reminded him that danger had not ended. The Varn would come again, stronger, angrier, and smarter. The Drael would watch closely, curious yet cautious. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy, and now every movement would be watched, measured, and feared. The crew moved with quiet efficiency. Repairs continued, shields were reinforced, and weapon systems were tested again and again. Every officer understood one truth: the galaxy had changed, and so had their role in it. Daniel turned to his first officer, Mara. "The Varn will not stop. We need to make our next moves carefully. Every system we pass, every world we visit, they will watch." "We must be ready," Mara nodded. "Sir, even the Drael are wary. They are sending scouts and diplomats. They want to study us. Some even fear we could tip the balance of power." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Then we must show them the humans are not just strong, but smart. Every step must count. We cannot give them weakness to exploit." Meanwhile, news of Earth spread to smaller species, hidden colonies, and worlds under the control of the Varn or Drael. Among them, hope blossomed. For the first time, they believed resistance was possible. The humans had faced fleets larger than any they had imagined and survived. Perhaps some whispered, Earth could change the galaxy. But fear also spread among the empires. The Varn High Council convened immediately after the ambush failed. Their leaders argued bitterly. One ship has defeated our forces, one growled. How is this possible? No species should rise so quickly. Another council member added, We have underestimated them. Humanity is not weak. We must find their strength before it grows further. Across the Drael Empire, the reaction was different but no less urgent. Their commanders debated strategy in golden halls filled with quiet hums of power. This human ship fights with tactics unknown to our fleets, one said. They do not follow our rules. Their courage is more dangerous than their weapons. Another added, We must watch them and perhaps guide them. If we cannot control them, we may lose the advantage against the Varn entirely. The humans, meanwhile, moved quietly through space. Every jump through a star system, every scan of alien fleets was careful, deliberate. They had learned quickly that their appearance had upset centuries of balance. They were no longer observers, they were participants. On the Valor, Daniel gathered his officers. The galaxy fears us and the small worlds are watching. We can inspire hope without striking first. We can survive without making enemies worse than they need to be. Every move we make now will define Earth's future. The crew nodded, understanding the burden they carried. For centuries, humans had lived in quiet isolation. Now a single ship carried the weight of an entire planet's reputation. Reports came from scouts and communication relays. Systems previously loyal to the Varn began to question their rulers. Some smuggled messages called humans heroes. Others warned of rebellion. The name Earth was no longer unknown. It carried meaning, power, strength, courage. Daniel realized the scale of what had begun. The humans had entered a galaxy ruled by fear and hierarchy, yet their actions had already inspired change. Every fleet, every council, every hidden world now saw humans as a force. That force could not be ignored. Still, he knew the danger was far from over. The Varn would plan another strike, larger and more cunning. The Drael might try to sway humanity to their side. The galaxy had shifted, but the humans had to navigate this new reality carefully. One wrong step, one mistake, could turn admiration into deadly attention. Yet in the quiet moments, Daniel allowed himself a thought. Humans were small compared to empires, yet they carried something ancient in their spirit: resilience, courage, and the ability to surprise. The galaxy could see their fire, but it could never predict its limits. As the Valor moved through space, leaving burning fields and stories of battle behind, one truth became clear. Humanity had arrived. Fear had risen among the empires. Hope had risen among the oppressed. The balance of power was no longer steady. From this point on, every star, every fleet, and every world would measure themselves against Earth, and the humans were ready. The galaxy held its breath. The arrival of the Valor and its lone crew had changed everything. Both the Varn Dominion and the Drael Empire had learned that humans were no longer small or weak. A single ship had survived impossible odds, destroyed warships, and shattered centuries of confidence. Now every council, every fleet, every spy and diplomat understood that Earth had become a player in galactic affairs. Captain Daniel stood on the bridge, watching distant stars. The Valor had moved far from the site of the last battle, but its sensors still tracked fleets, hidden signals, and unknown threats. Every day was a test of vigilance. The crew worked quietly, efficiently, and with determination. They had proven themselves once, and they would prove it again if needed. The Varn had retreated, licking wounds and gathering new forces. They would return, stronger and more cunning. The Drael watched from a distance, curious and cautious, their respect for humanity tempered by the knowledge that humans might not be controlled or guided. Daniel addressed his crew. We have survived what no one thought possible. We have faced the might of empires and stood tall, but the war is not over. The galaxy will try to test us again, and we must be ready. Humanity will not bow, but it will not rush blindly into conflict either. The officers nodded. Their faces were tired, but their eyes held fire. Mara, the first officer, stepped forward. Sir, across the systems we passed, messages are spreading. Small colonies, oppressed planets, and hidden worlds now speak of hope. They see us as proof that power is not absolute. The humans are inspiring others. Daniel smiled faintly. That is the beginning of change. We fight not just with weapons, but with the example we set. Courage travels faster than any fleet. Reports came in from scouts. Some systems had already begun to resist the Varn quietly, undermining supply lines and sharing intelligence with neighbors. The Drael observed these movements with interest, recognizing that humans had altered the political landscape without firing a single shot beyond their initial battles. The valor became a symbol. Wherever it appeared, whispers followed. The humans are coming. They are strong. They do not fear the mighty. And fear spread among the Varn leaders, not just for the humans themselves, but for the ripple effect they had caused. A galaxy that once obeyed without question now hesitated. Old powers began to doubt, and hesitation was dangerous. One evening, as Daniel walked the bridge alone, he watched the stars and thought about the future. Earth was far from the center of galactic affairs, yet now it could not remain isolated. Every decision, every alliance, and every demonstration of strength mattered. Humans had entered a world ruled by centuries of power and tradition, but they brought something new: resilience, courage, and the determination to survive against impossible odds. Suddenly, a transmission arrived from a distant system. The signal was weak but clear. It was a plea for help from a small colony under threat from the Varn. Daniel looked at Mara. "This is why we fight. We do not conquer or rule. We defend and we inspire. Prepare the ship. We go to help them." The crew moved with practiced speed. Engines warmed, shields rose, and the valor cut through the stars once more. Humanity was no longer a passive observer. Every step they took affected the balance of power. Every act of defense, every display of courage, shifted the perception of what a single species could achieve. In the Varn High Council, leaders argued bitterly. "They cannot be stopped," one shouted. "Their courage and tactics are unlike anything we have faced. Each time we strike, they survive. Each time they grow stronger." Another added, "We must reconsider our approach. Fear alone will not contain them." The Drael also debated, though their tone was different. They fight not for conquest, but for survival and protection. They are unpredictable and bold. If we can ally with them, they could become a powerful force against the Varn. But if we force them, we may create a new enemy. On the bridge of the Valor, Daniel listened to these distant echoes across the galaxy. He understood the responsibility that had fallen on his shoulders. Humanity had not sought glory, but it had achieved it. The galaxy had watched a single human ship survive, and now the ripple effects could not be stopped. Daniel turned to his crew. "Remember this moment. We are not alone in the galaxy, but we are strong. Our actions will decide not just our fate, but the future of countless worlds. The balance of power has changed, and from this day forward, Earth will be counted among the stars." The crew nodded, proud and determined. The Valor jumped to faster speeds, leaving a trail of light behind as it moved toward the colony in need. Across the galaxy, small worlds watched the movement of the human ship with hope. Fear and caution spread among the empires. The balance of power had shifted, and no one could ignore Earth again. Captain Daniel stood at the front of the bridge, hands clasped behind his back. He gazed at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the fire of possibility. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy, and the galaxy had learned that even a single world could stand against centuries of power. The Valor moved forward, carrying hope, courage, and the strength of humanity. From nowhere, an Earth warship had appeared, and the balance of power was broken forever. The galaxy would never be the same.